took 3 months off after the Olympic Games and getting back in, slowly training, but shooting the show on ABC Splash was definitely putting a damper on my training, but I'm thankful for that opportunity. But getting back into the pool, that's kind of where I live, breathe, eat, and sleep, and it's definitely comfortable. This is what I like doing, and so getting back into competition is something that I'm looking forward to. Like I said earlier, I'm not 100% like I was at the Olympic Games. I was completely prepared to go into London. I'm ready to compete. This one, I'm probably at 60%, but I'm okay with that. I'm not going there and sweeping away everything in the competition, but I'm going in there like the Olympic Games to just go in, dive how I prepared, and hopefully walk away with some learning experience again.
I mean, that's the celebrities for some tips, right?
Yeah.
They've been training for a while.
Yeah, I mean, the celebrities on the show are pros now, so I get the tips from them, you know, but it was cool to see what the celebrities did in the 10 weeks that they had to prepare. It shows how brutal this sport is, how hard it is, and that not everyone can just get up there and go and look like an Olympian.
Any nerves? Just obviously you'll have a little bit of training time before you go there, but
yeah,
you haven't been in competition since you were on the biggest stage in the world.
Yeah, so I mean, there's always going to be nerves getting back into competition. That's what competition is. But something that I've learned in the past, 13 years of my diving career is there's always going to be butterflies, but learning how to put them in formation so you're in control of your nerves. And so there are nerves, and I think you can add a lot of pressure, like, oh, he won the Olympic Games, so he has to go back into competition and sweep the competition and be the best again and show that but that's just added pressure that I ultimately cannot control. I can't control how the athletes are going to compete or how the judges' scores are going to give me. So I'm going to go in there and dive like I've trained in the past 6 months, and I think that'll be decent enough.
Do you need this just to kind of get your head back in the game maybe a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the competition next week in Fort Lauderdale is kind of just getting my feet wet again back in the competition for the next week. So the next week after Fort Lauderdale is Tallahassee, and we have World Championship trials, and we will try to qualify to go to World Championships in Barcelona in July.
I think I read that you usually do about 15, 16 meets a year, and this year you're really only planning to do 3?
Yeah.
Just the Grand Prix, the trials, and the Worlds?
Yeah, this is a little different year. It's used to doing 15, 16 competitions throughout the year, but after the Olympic Games, this is a perfect opportunity to capitalize on the short shelf life that Olympians have, and so that's what I've done as best as possible, and seize the opportunity to go and do other engagements besides diving. So this is an off year, it's a perfect year to do it, but I'm looking forward to getting back into competition because, like I said, this is what I've done for 13 years. It's what I know.
Is David, first of all?
He actually looks good.
Does he?
Yeah. I mean, when he came back, and he's been diving long enough now that he's just got so much of that muscle memory kind of drilled in there that he looked good. His shoulder got a little tense the last few weeks, but he looks good. Yeah.
Do you have any misgivings as a coach for him, balancing training with the splash and taking 3 months off and the various things he did?
Well, I think the reality is that diving wasn't the focus, over the last few months. His first focus before anything else was his relationship with God, making sure that we don't lose that with all the hustle and bustle, and then his wife and his marriage is absolutely number 2. And then, with Splash, he's beginning to take on a bit of a career, so that needed to be next in line. And then diving we did when we could, and it was amazing, as you said, with the rustiness, it wasn't bad at all. He's able to maintain, he's stayed in good shape, working out and so forth, so he looks good.
And is it your job to be the warden or the disciplinarian here and get him back in top shape?
He doesn't need a whole lot. He's you don't win a gold medal with without a lot of internal self-discipline and motivation. So he's doing great on his own. I just make sure I just give him a track and help him write workouts and make sure we're doing what we need to set ourselves up to be as successful as we can. But he does a lot of that on his own.
With his schedule, the way it's been, do you feel like he's where he kind of needs to be going into this first thing?
We don't have anywhere where we need to be. you know, the reality of it is we're the first year in the quad right now. We're taking it 1 year at a time. The focus has never changed than going into the Olympic Games. You know, with everything going on, we want to balance out the best we can, continue to grow as a person, and set ourselves up to be as successful as we can. And he's been doing that.
Have you detected any changes in David since the Olympics? Since last, I don't know how much it's been.
No. I mean, I'd say anything. You know, he's growing in marriage, which, as we know, is a wonderful tool to allow us to grow in character, just like sports is. And so there's just been a tremendous amount of blessings. His wife is absolutely unbelievable, Sunny, just a super godly woman. It's really been a help for him. And you know, and any changes I've seen have been all positive for David.
Obviously, with your wife, you know what's possible with Olympic athletes and exposure, but this is kind of maximized to the full potential of being on a reality show and doing Coca-Cola ads and Visa ads and things like that. Is it still weird to you to, when you see David on TV, and like, I knew him when he was teenage David, you know, green and still trying to figure out life?
No, I actually only saw 10 minutes of the first episode of Splash, so I haven't seen him on TV. You know, but I think that these kind of things can have pressure on you, and we've seen many Olympic athletes really fold after the Olympics and deal with depression, and especially after winning a gold medal, you know. But I mean, David's faith has kept him grounded, but not to say it hasn't been challenging. I mean, all these things can definitely challenge somebody to keep their perspective on what's important. And so what we worked on is just realizing that first and foremost, his relationship with God and his wife are the two most important things. And I think the fact that we've been able to do that has really kept him grounded in this experience.
He said he seems like he has it all in perspective. He's not going to win the World Championships. You know, he's going there to kind of get his feet wet and get back in the game a little bit, right?
Yeah, and reality is, you guys know how I feel about that. I never go to win. You know, we go to perform the best that we can with the training we've put in and everything else. And so we want to go there and leave it all on the table and you know, and see what happens, and whether he wins or doesn't, or, you know, that's not the ultimate goal.
You mentioned about the short shelf life, and you've had a lot of fun with probably public appearances and the Splash. You've drifted a little bit beyond the sports pages into the entertainment and celebrity news. How has that been? That has to be kind of an adjustment.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm comfortable inside a sport. And so if I'm going to an engagement, I can speak about sports, something that I've done for this long, but now I'm venturing into something that I've never done before in an entertainment business. And it's definitely a different animal. I've learned a lot the past 10 weeks of what to do and what not to do. But I think the best thing I can take away from this experience of shooting this season at Splash on ABC is definitely I've learned a lot of patience, because entertainment's always about hurry up and wait, which is something I wasn't prepared for. But also, you know, just feeling comfortable and just being who I was probably the best thing I could have taken away from that.
What you say you learned what to do and what not to do. What did you learn to do, and then what did you learn not to do?
Well, I think what to do, just coming into my freshman year, scheduling was always the hardest thing for me to do. And so learning how to balance a schedule again, because I'm going out to California from West Lafayette every single week. So I'd fly out Wednesday night, shoot the show Wednesday, and then take a red eye on Wednesday night. And so, you know, learning how to balance the show, learning how to balance the other appearances, and just when to say no and when to say yes to things. And I hate saying no, so I've learned to say no, and not in a bad way, but just so I can be able to balance my priorities right.
Isn't that the agent's job?
What's that?
That's the agent's job, so you don't have to feel like the bad guy?
That's the agent's job. That's something that I've learned as well, that, you know, coming into the sports world, especially the professional world, you need someone like an agent to kind of facilitate and learn how to balance things. So we have to communicate a lot, but her job is definitely difficult, and she has to sometimes be the bad guy and step in there and say it's not possible.
Now, is Evan still your agent, or
no? No.
Who's your agent now?
So my new agent's out of New York. Her name's Cheryl Shade. She represents Sean Johnson, a lot of other gymnasts, Olympians.
Okay. Actually, about Mary Beth a little bit. She has endured a lot.
Absolutely.
Did you ever sense that it was just going to be too much and that she wanted to abandon diving entirely? She really seemed upbeat today, and the fact that maybe she's almost start her diving career over.
Yeah, no, we never felt that way. I don't think she ever felt that way. Or I would never feel that way. I mean, I think the only reason why you would even go down that road is if you feel like, well, I'm not going to be able to reach what my goals are, and so I'm just going to abandon. And I would absolutely, steer away from that. And that's just quitting based on a destination, And so the goal for her has been the same too. That, we're going to fight and claw and scratch and do everything that we can to reach her greatest potential. Now, where that may end up, we don't know. But she's had a little tune-up on her shoulder by Dr. Rubin, and she feels better than she's ever felt right now. We still have a long ways to go. We got a few months of rehab before we can get back in the water. But she's excited. We're excited to see what she can do.
But from the college standpoint, in some sense, she's almost got her whole college career ahead of her, really.
Absolutely.
3 seasons.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was David's college career. That was
exactly.
pretty long.
Yeah, she does. She's got a tremendous amount of diving ahead of her, and there's no question the best diving still ahead of her.
Talk about Lane just briefly. I asked David, and he said, he continues to get better every day, and obviously he had a great freshman season. Is he somebody who, if he keeps growing, can compete for a 2016 team, or is that kind of reaching right now at this point?
Well, I don't know that. I think we just don't want to focus there, because there's a few divers on our team that have some great potential, and we just want to keep growing, and we want to be the best that we can be. And if that puts us on an Olympic team in 2016, then great. But if it doesn't, we don't want to put our focus on making an Olympic team in 16.
Second year in a row, you've been recognized as a Coach of the Year candidate. Just what does that mean to you to be recognized and to be on that list with the other individuals?
I mean, it's a great honor. You know what I mean? It tickles me just to think that God would grace me with the ability to work with great athletes like David in a great facility like the university. I mean, it's not a pat on my back. It's a pat on everybody's back. I've got a great God, an amazing wife, a great university. U.S. Diving has just really done an amazing job this year, and I had an opportunity to work with great athletes like David. And when you put all those pieces together, then that's the recipe to be recognized for an honor like that. But there's just so many people involved with that honor that I would feel silly to say that I was the main factor in that, because I wasn't. There's so many people. And I have an unbelievable wife who's been my partner in that, and our goal when we got here was to bring individuals in, and we wanted to help them reach their greatest potential as a person first, and as an athlete second. And we just stayed to that motto, and we wanted to keep growing in character. We bring these kids in and say, you know what, win, lose, or draw, let's grow in character, and I think the results will take care of themselves, and it has. We're super proud of that.
And in that, the program continues to grow and reach bigger heights.
Yeah, and we've been blessed. I mean, I think we've had 13 or 14 All-Americans here in the last 8 years, and as you mentioned, Casey Matthews is a national champion, and so it's exciting. We just want to keep growing and keep bringing in those kind of athletes so we can help advance on not only diving but be ready to take on a great role as a citizen when they leave here.